Coming up, is this the best value automatic watch in the world? Let's find out.
You know what you're gonna be? Blasted.
Hello and welcome back to Automatic Reviews. I'm Mark. Before I get to the review of the bafflingly affordable Tandorio Identity Crisis TD102S, I'd just like to tell you a bit about the channel. The goal around here is to review the best watches at all price ranges. Some have big price tags, some have small ones, but if they have the potential to be great watches, I aim to review them. All right, before we continue, today's video is, drumroll, sponsored. When Tandorio offered to sponsor this video, as I will with any sponsor, I agreed on the condition that they would have no input or influence on the content of this review, outside of me putting a link to this watch in the description and letting you guys know that it's there. If you like this watch, feel free to check that out. Also worth mentioning is it's not an affiliate link, so I don't make any money based on sales. So yes, this video is sponsored, but as usual, guys, I'll always tell you what I really think. No sponsorship is worth more than your trust. I mean it. Also worth mentioning is opportunities like this are made possible by your support and directly improve the channel. So please do consider giving me a subscribe. All right, so let's take a look at this watch. Here's a quick look at the unboxing experience. There's an outer sleeve with a branded inner box. The watch comes bagged in plastic, and it's wedged into a foam inner case for protection. Also included is an instruction manual. Tandorio offers a 2-year warranty. The stainless steel cushion case is mostly brushed, but has a few hints of polish. The case is 36 millimeters across, 13.6 millimeters thick, 41.5 millimeters lug to lug, and the lug width is 18 millimeters. It has an unbranded but informative screw-down case back and an unsigned screw-down crown. The Seiko-made NH35 automatic movement beats away inside at 21,600 beats per hour. It has a power reserve of 42 hours. The indices are silver and polished with lume applied. Most are round with the exception of 6 and 9, which are batons, and 12, which is a triangle. There is a framed, non-color match date window at 3 o'clock. The branding and other text is applied neatly on its gorgeous deep green sunburst dial. There is a lume 2-tone hour and minute handset, and the seconds hand features a lume pip. Here's a quick lume shot. The installed crystal is a box sapphire, and it did pass the diamond tester. Water resistance is listed at a whopping 200 meters. The watch comes on this rich brown leather strap with brushed silver tone hardware. Here it is on my flat profile 7-inch wrist. On the supplied leather strap, it weighs 69 grams. I got this watch on sale for only about 76 Canadian dollars, which is about 52 US dollars, which is an insane bargain. But also worth noting is that I purchased it prior to Tandorio's offer, so I bought it with my own money. Okay, for the lows, guys, it's actually hard to find any. I find myself in a very similar situation as the Militato ML05, where I didn't really want to call out lows because for that price, how can you exactly say that the watch is lacking anything? I mean, especially when it's such good quality. And the same thing applies to this watch. And it's maybe more extreme here because this watch actually features an automatic movement. So yeah, I think I'm just going to move right on to the mids. I personally think the K-shape is charming, but it's on the thicker end of the spectrum at 13.6 millimeters, especially for its overall smaller size of 36 millimeters across. But it gives it a unique feel, kind of reminiscent of the effect achieved by the cushion case on the Seiko Turtle I reviewed recently. That said, 36mm watches aren't everyone's tastes, and 13.6mm thick watches aren't everyone's tastes. Same applies with the lug width. An 18mm strap is a classic size, and it gives this watch a really retro feeling, but a 19mm or ideally a 20mm lug width would have brought a lot more larger wrists on board and made compatible straps easier to source. This watch is a chunky 36mm, and I'm someone who's learned to love an even less bold 36mm watch. So this one should be a no-brainer, but I think a wider lug width and therefore a wider strap could have elevated it for me. Overall, it doesn't wear too small, and I'd say in particular if you have a 6.5-inch wrist or smaller, this watch will fit seamlessly, but also still have presence, so I think it could be a real plus for someone with that wrist size. I will enjoy wearing this watch, but the sizing is still kind of borderline for me, and I think that comes down mostly to the lug width, so it's a mid for me. At the edge of the crystal where it meets the case, the space is just ever so slightly larger than normal. The seal is actually even visible. This had me checking a variety of other watches, and some of them do also have a visible gap. It varies. Most people will never notice this, and I doubt it will interfere with many people's enjoyment. Again, at this price point, it's a mid. It's worth noting, but it's not a deal breaker. The lume on the indices is great. On the hands, it's more faint. I was surprised how well the indices were lumed, but I just wish the hands were at the same level. Some days are more or less dead center, and some are aligned more to the left of the date window. I say all the time how date complications are rarely executed flawlessly at any price range, so this is a mid for me. This watch lacks something I usually like to see, which is a minute track. I actually thought this might bother me more, but I only really noticed it when setting the watch, and the rest of the time, it just left the dial feeling less cluttered. This watch actually might be my gateway into watches without minute tracks, but I do acknowledge that it won't be for everyone. It's right there in the name, Identity Crisis. This watch isn't just one thing, it's a mashup of several styles and eras. Some people will love these modern, sporty hands combined with the sunburst dial and retro cushion case. Others will feel like this watch fails to settle into one cohesive identity. Others, like myself, will take this watch for what it is, an eccentric remix of features that you might not have guessed would work well together, but do. Some will agree and some won't. The strap quality surprised me. This watch has a strap that's pretty supple and comfortable for a watch of this price range. I've actually bought watches that cost almost 10 times as much that included leather straps that were nowhere near this quality. They really didn't skimp on this strap. The case is nicely finished for the money. The brushing work is certainly decent, but it's the pops of polish at the ends of the lugs that are most appreciated. They add a touch of contrast and a touch of visual interest and class that makes them stand out. Partially because of its compact size and partially because of its soft leather strap, this watch wears extremely comfortably. You can almost forget you're wearing it. With NH35 movements, I usually don't bother tracking accuracy. They tend to be fine but not great. However, due to how cheap this unit was, I was really curious how the movement would actually perform. Plus 2 to 3 seconds per day fast is what I'm averaging. Your luck may vary, but my results were exceptional. As it stands, that means that as my cheapest automatic watch, this Tandorio produces results that are about equal to my most expensive automatic watch. That's crazy. While I would have loved to see some sort of deep stamped Tandorio design, I was pleasantly surprised that we weren't dealing with a plain case back. There is some nice circular etching and some informative text indicating the case material, water resistance, and the fact that this watch has an automatic movement. It makes the watch feel ever so slightly more premium. Another strange thing to report is that despite being the cheapest automatic watch in my collection, it's also one of the most flawlessly finished watches I own in terms of hotspots. Nothing on this watch could scratch you whatsoever. The only thing not chamfered completely are these holes on the case back, and while you can feel that if you press your thumb into them with force, it would never come up in real life. This watch is a gorgeous color to begin with, and pairing it with the included brown strap is sublime. A deep rich green paired with a warm brown is an impossible to hate combination in my opinion. This watch has a listed water resistance of 200 meters, and while I have no way of testing that, and it is a bold claim, I also have no reason to doubt them. Everything is screwed down and this watch is a little tank. For the price I paid for this watch, you can barely buy the movement that's inside of it. A stainless steel automatic watch with a screw-down caseback and crown with a sapphire crystal for less money than even the cheapest plastic quartz swatch. I started doing the math and I really don't comprehend how they can offer these features for the money. Add into it the fact that this is actually a brilliant watch and we're talking about world-beating value. This is the best value automatic watch I've ever come across. At the beginning I posed a question, is this the best value automatic watch in the world? As you just saw, my conclusion is that it very well might be. This watch's flaws are quite minimal and are very similar to the flaws you'd find and easily forgive in most watches under $300 at retail, but its features are unlike most of those watches, as are its price. Even in the world of affordable Chinese watches, this watch is a spectacular value. If you like how it looks and you think it would be a good fit for your wrist, I would 100% recommend this watch. So what do you think? Is this a watch you'd consider picking up? Do you already own one? Is there a more affordable automatic watch out there that you'd recommend instead? I want to hear about it. All right, guys, that's it. That's all. Be sure to check the description for any relevant links, such as where to find this watch on Tandorio's website. Also, remember to hit that subscribe button to see more reviews in the future. Till next time, bye-bye.